Imagine moving into an old, abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. A house with a history so dark, even the locals refuse to talk about it. But you're drawn in. Every creak of the floorboard, every whisper in the walls feels like it's calling your name. What if I told you that the house you just bought wasn't empty? That's something someone has been waiting for you to arrive. This is the terrifying story of Jonathan Harlow's house, a place where restless spirits still walk the halls, and a secret darker than death itself lurks in the shadows. Are you ready to uncover the secrets of this haunted house? Because once you start, there's no turning back. I still remember the first day I stepped foot into the old house located in rural America. The weather was cold and overcast, and the large gray house seemed to float amidst the thick fog. The house had been abandoned for years, a target of neglect, but I had high hopes for restoring it. I imagined how grand it must have been in its heyday and how I could bring it back to life. As I opened the front door, a terrifying creaking sound filled the air, as if the house itself was groaning. The main hall was covered in dust and cobwebs, and the faded, tattered carpet added to the already dreary atmosphere. Despite the mess and grime, I couldn't help but feel curious and eager to turn this into a beautiful home. The first night in the house felt strange. It was as though something was watching me. I tried to sleep, but every time I woke up, I felt a presence near me. Strange noises came from inside the walls, whispers I couldn't quite make out. It felt like the house was alive, communicating with me, but I tried my best to ignore it. The strangeness grew as the days passed. Every night, it felt as though something was disturbing my sleep. I began hearing footsteps above the ceiling, doors creaking open by themselves, and faint, unintelligible whispers. I couldn't ignore it any longer. My curiosity pushed me to investigate further into the history of the house. With the help of the local library, I discovered that the house was once owned by Jonathan Harlow, a well-known philanthropist in the area. But there was something odd about the death of the Harlow family. They had died under mysterious circumstances, and the house had been abandoned after the tragedy. I found several old newspaper articles describing the tragic incident and the rumors that followed. One night, while exploring the basement, I found an old note hidden behind the wall. The note appeared to have been written by Jonathan Harlow himself. In his writings, he described feeling immense tension and threats from something he couldn't explain. He also detailed how rituals he performed to rid the house of spirits only seemed to make things worse. That night, I felt deeply uneasy. I had the distinct feeling that something was following me, and the fear began creeping in. The strange noises became more frequent, and it felt as though this house held dark secrets that had yet to be uncovered. I couldn't ignore the truth hidden behind Jonathan Harlow's notes. I felt compelled to investigate further to unravel the mystery. I began delving deeper into the history of the Harlow family and tried to understand the rituals that Jonathan Harlow had performed. I decided to carry out a ritual mentioned in a housemate's journal I had found in a storage room. This ritual was supposed to calm the spirits trapped in the house. That night, I carefully prepared everything: candles, the necessary materials, and the prayer from the journal. During the ritual, I felt the atmosphere around me change drastically. room's temperature plummeted, and I heard terrifying cries. Dark shadows appeared and moved erratically at the corners of my vision. My voice trembled as I continued reading the prayer, struggling to stay focused. Finally, after what felt like hours, the atmosphere began to settle. The dark shadows vanished, and the temperature returned to normal. I felt a sense of relief, but anxiety still gnawed at me. Had the ritual truly worked, or were the spirits simply biding their time before returning? Even though calm had returned, I couldn't shake off the unease. I decided to dig deeper into the house's history and its previous owners. I contacted local historians and paranormal researchers who might shed more light on the matter. One historian, Mrs. Thompson, explained that Jonathan Harlow was deeply involved in occult practices and was rumored to have conducted rituals for power and wealth. Some of those rituals might have backfired, causing disastrous consequences. Harlow had rivals who were jealous, and it was rumored that some may have conducted rituals of their own in revenge. I also consulted a paranormal investigator named David. He visited my house to conduct an investigation. With his advanced equipment, he detected strange energy and unexplained activity in several parts of the house. According to him, there was a strong and tormented entity present, possibly more than one trapped spirit. Armed with the information from Mrs. Thompson and David, I decided to investigate the house thoroughly. I started researching more about the rituals and practices Jonathan Harlow had performed, carefully combing through every inch of the house. I discovered a hidden room under the basement floor that I had never known about. This room seemed to have been used for Harlow's rituals. Inside, I found strange symbols and occult instruments. The aura in the room was overwhelmingly powerful and oppressive. David and I decided to perform a more intense cleansing ritual. We meticulously prepared everything, following the guidelines from the journal and other relevant documents. During the ritual, we encountered multiple disturbances, including terrifying screams, dark shadowy figures, and extreme temperature changes. After what felt like an eternity, the ritual concluded, and I sensed a significant shift. The atmosphere in the house seemed much calmer. However, deep down, I still felt that not everything was resolved. Could the spirits have truly left, or were they merely suppressed? Despite the apparent calm, my curiosity and anxiety never fully dissipated. I continued to research the house's history, hoping to uncover more about the trapped spirits and the mystery behind the Harlow family's deaths. I discovered that the Harlow family was not only victims of personal tragedy but also embroiled in a larger conflict with the local community. There were rumors that dark forces had played a role in their demise. I began to suspect that there was something far greater and more complex than I had initially imagined. Determined to find the truth, I pressed on with my research. The house, I realized, would always hold secrets and darkness that might never be fully uncovered. I would continue my quest for answers, even if it meant confronting terror that might never fully leave. And so, the mystery of Jonathan Harlow's house remains unsolved. The spirits that once walked its halls may have quieted, but their whispers still linger, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. Do you think the house is truly free of its curse? Or is it just waiting for its next victim? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more terrifying tales from the darkest corners of the world. And let us know in the comments, would you spend a night in Jonathan Harlow's house? Thanks for watching, and remember, the shadows are never as empty as they seem.